Good evening and welcome everybody. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marigold. This is Thank God It's Tuesday. He's Kevin Ricca.
Yes, did it work? I hope it worked.
We're going to find out.
A lot of stuff happening there.
If people can hear. If you can hear us blink twice.
We got all new equipment.
Andrew B., the A-Team, AGH,
Andrew
Robert
B.
Cohen,
Back home, boy.
Greg Martin, Rhett Donnelly, Jay, Mike, Rosner. We're going to call him Rosner tonight. And EO, of course, first up on the list. Let us know if you can hear what's coming through. We appreciate that. We're on a new set of everything. So
looks like bacon neck for me, though. This camera's too good. I got a bacon
very
neck.
modulated, we're being told.
Quitter.
We'll figure it out.
It's
We're figure it out.
modulated.
I don't know. It said there's some modulation coming through. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the guys say. Tim Strachan?
Oh yeah, that's me. I'm here. Thank God it's Tuesday. Thank God we're on. I don't know how any of this works, and thank God I don't have to do any of it.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're going to turn this down a little bit, Robert. We're going to get down to right around right there. We'll see how that works out. We'll get folks. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. We're gonna showcase a few new elements for Thank God It's Tuesday, and we'll figure out how to make the most of them in the days and weeks ahead. But we'll start where we talk. Where we started a year ago. I don't have any direction on this. I'm not trying to go in any. I'm not trying to end up where we've been ending up in this conversation for the last year. Just Dan Snyder is absolutely making this painful, like super painful. He's really good at that.
He's being Dan Snyder.
It's he's like exceeding
surprising.
So damn.
He's at an all-pro Dan Snyder level though here, because this was these meetings were supposed to be it. That was ordained like 9 months ago, and damn if he didn't figure out a way to absolutely ruin everyone's April 1st.
Just turd of the decade, turd of the century. Just the pebbly little poo turd.
He is a pebbly little poo turd. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind that he's going to sell the team. Obviously, the news, if you want to call it good news, is they multiple bids up and above, record-setting transaction
Double
levels.
$6 billion joints, and none of them is the Juice Master.
None of them is juicy tidbits. Well, I think
The Juice Master is waiting for when it's ripe. That's what the Juice Master does.
That's when he knows when it's the juiciest. But
hell, I mean, if other people got $6 billion, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have to wait for the Juice Master.
Steve Polychronopoulos is up in there. I like that. And
Mr. Papadopoulos?
Yeah, yes. How do you say it?
Antonopoulos.
Apostolopoulos?
Apostolopoulos. Yes. And he seems like a fine standing up Canadian jet. We've talked about that. And then the local guys throwing in Magic Johnson, which is fine. But RG3 trying to jump into the mix? Is he just dying for people to click
Go
his
away.
shit? He's like, I would like to be a part of the. We don't want that. We don't want that.
We don't want it.
We want your other ACL to have worked 11 years ago.
Although him being the 13th minority partner and would probably mean he has to get off TV, which actually would be a win-win for everybody because
But I think he's good on
he does
TV.
nothing. He's okay.
better on TV than
The only
he
thing
is
he does
okay.
good.
He actually is not bad, but he's
I'm with you.
only okay.
I'm not begging for him.
He wants
way
everybody
better
to
than I
stand
thought
up
he
and
would.
clap every time he
He
finishes
does.
saying something.
Oh boy, does he love
Sorry.
RG3? Oh boy, he
Yeah,
does. But
I know. It's.
But is there? They say our words on the thingamabob? Because
I don't know if it's closed
There's
caption.
certain words that are going to come up in closed caption that I've never heard in closed
see what it
caption
is.
before.
Shit.
Leave the T.
didn't come
He's
up.
been on a roll lately.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm as unconcerned about who actually buys this team as I've ever been, and I'm ready for the new guy. And let me ask you, let's talk about touch on another topic that we've danced around the last whole entire year. Does the new owner change the name? Just let's just take a straw poll.
We've touched on it.
Just yes or no.
I would love. Yes.
Do you think he does?
Yes.
No.
I think you should, but I think you won't. Red, is the name changed or not?
No.
Yeah, I think we're stuck with
No,
the Commanders. I don't know
change
if it's good or bad or whatever, but
Everybody hates it. Who likes it?
I know, but
4 names in 5 years.
Nobody likes it.
all right, but if they left it up to us to come up with the name, is it going to be any good?
But at least do something that people like.
All right, I know.
I mean,
but-
it's universally hated.
thing.
It's hated.
I knew it. Finally, you silenced me.
I think that's going to help out a lot. Tell
that
me if
helping?
that does,
Helping a lot.
boys on the mic. I think I turned down a little bit.
So
of the
many
gain.
extremely unimportant things I've already said this podcast. So
Everyone heard us. Everyone heard us in their ear space. That's
Apparently,
for sure.
loud, too loud.
Yeah, I think the new sound is
Touchy.
Yeah, I want the name change too.
oh, I want the name. I would love a great name. I also want a pony
That's
and
You want a pony?
and some of that juicy wallet I would love to have. But you know,
Thank
instead,
you, 18.
We do have Tuesdays. Though.
I literally
Appreciate
cannot
those.
say the word. I have like trouble.
Which word is that?
The C word.
This Commanders?
Yeah.
You're that much against it?
Yeah.
You're totally okay.
I pause every time I actually do say it, and most of the time I just don't.
It's
I say
in
Washington football
character.
team.
You were the one who said
Can't.
if they ever change the name, you would never root for them again.
I
So it's
just-
clearly it has affected you. They've also changed it twice.
I don't
in the
like
last
it.
2.5 years.
I like the first one. The first one
Get
was
off of
fine.
my AstroTurf lawn. I love
The
it.
first one was fine. Keep it that. They should have just kept it the Washington football team.
Oh, if the owner brought that back, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Parade on Minnesota Avenue. Welcome back, Redskins. Let the band lead us through the greatest city most powerful city on the planet.
Imagine the kind of deal.
Wild Cherries playing. Play that funky music, white boy, from the three dudes on the horns out in front of the old Redskins band in the end zone. Come on.
They
You can
like
dream.
a parade to RFK with shovels for the groundbreaking ceremony for the new stadium. It all happens on the same day, and the whole and everyone's back
Are we
in.
burying Daniel Snyder that day?
He's not.
in
coming back.
effigy. In effigy.
He's not coming back to the States ever.
No. That's why we put him in a tiny box. In effigy.
Put him in a
What do you
tiny
think?
box.
He may be back in the States in a box, in a cell.
That's true.
In a
Oh, I don't think he's going to
in a
jail.
box room.
Yeah.
Guys like him don't go
His
to jail.
deal with the devil specifically outlines that he can spend
the
no
whole
time in federal
douchey thing
penitentiary.
about all of this is the indemnity
He's not getting
piece.
it.
But that's apparently the hang-up.
I mean, that's the asking for the world, and he's going to end up getting a deal that he doesn't deserve because he'll be like, all right, how about everything except indemnification? I mean, no owner's going to give him. No owner's giving him indemnification.
And nobody ghosts Mary Jo.
Nor should
No
they.
one
I'm just telling you right now, he's ghosting Mary Jo, and that is not going to end
I
well.
choose
Well, they say
not to be
that's the good.
interviewed.
That is a good sign that he's ghosting her because that would assume he doesn't want anything out. He doesn't want to admit anything, and he wants to sell the team and never let this story ever come to light.
Well,
Oh, it's coming to life. That report's getting made public.
If the team sells and he's out of it and they're all done,
Oh yes. No, they've made a commitment. Like the NFL, but they got in so much trouble because of the last
All
one.
right.
Just getting rid of Daniel Snyder. Like there's so many people now who don't
if
even
this
care about
team
football.
if this team is sold in the
Yes.
next, I say, month to 2 months,
Yes.
that report never sees the
No,
light.
it
of
has
day.
to.
I don't
It's not
think
about football. It's about sexual
You can say
harassment,
it has
sexual
to
assault,
as much as you want.
workplace. No.
it's not going to see the light of day.
It is a professional public investigation. Like
It
there's
will not see the light of day.
Well,
Okay, well,
there's a
it might
lot of
get
pressure
leaked,
coming on with what just happened to Jerry Jones
like
down
it's already
south.
been made public. The witnesses who
It's
testified,
coming.
all the law enforcement that's been involved. There's no way in the world they don't make this investigation finding.
Jerry Jones just got there's going to be a paternity test on a 16-year-old who he's been paying for her to go to college. He's probably about a Range Rover. But he's like, oh, she's not my daughter. Like, get out of here, nerd. Like, we know it. Not to mention another sexual assault charge right in front of everyone. This is happening right now, coincidentally. That man's distancing himself from Daniel Snyder. So now they're both like, he's like, I've been trying to be like you, Jerry. Like, sexual assault charges, just a complete line of disgustingness, womanizing. Like, they're just like each other, and it's happening right at the same time.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones is so he's like, oh, that guy's gross. I think the quote was, it's not lovey-dovey, but it's not really all that strange. Talking about their relationship. You know, his relationship I don't want to hear about? Jerry Jones and Daniel Snyder.
Yeah.
I'd rather we got to figure out how we can shove each of them up each other's ass. That would be the right way to do it.
And there's no sexual assault organization. There's no sexual assault victims association. There's none of those gigantic organizations in this country are doing this to get Dan Snyder out of the NFL at all. This is an NFL problem. There's no way Dan Snyder being no longer an owner absolves the NFL of looking into and fixing what was a problem at the absolute highest level of their club. I mean, there's just no way.
And I don't want to keep going back to Jerry when we can sit here and talk about Daniel Snyder all day long, but what he's being sued for right now happened. One of his best players had this woman, a grandmother-age woman, into the Tom Landry room. Tom Landry was a fine, upstanding, good-hearted man. I know he was the Cowboys coach, but he did a lot of charitable stuff with the Washington Redskins and all the stuff they did with the basketball teams that they had for the Redskins and the Cowboys that went and played charity games in the offseason. Yeah. He would fly up from Dallas and come to every single one of those. Nothing but respect for the man. I got to meet him a bunch when I was a younger man. He was very good friends with my grandfather. He was a charitable, good-hearted dude. In the Tom Landry room, this dude forcibly grabbed, tongue-kissed, and groped some grandmother-age lady. That's coming out. All this stuff is pouring down on top of the league. Yeah. Something has to happen. Something has to go down. You can't just have Jerry out there going like, I don't want to be near him. I run a fine, upstanding organization. You two pieces of it, man. This is who you got. And guess what? I just don't want to hear about their relationship anymore. Who cares about two billionaire narcissists, pieces of trash who made deals with the devil?
But they've been protecting each other for 20 years.
What's over?
They knew. Oh, I know. But I'm saying like they were thick as thieves. That's like it's like every movie about something terrible. Where it's all great at the beginning, and then everything falls apart like halfway through, and like all of a sudden you realize, of course you're going to get arrested for running a drug, empire, or of course you can't do this or do that.
You're running a cartel.
Scarface starts out great, but it doesn't end well. None of those movies do. But that's this. Like those guys. I mean, the movie of Dan Snyder and Jerry Jones living it up in the late 90s and early 2000s. Good for them.
And Snyder's the possible narc right now. Yeah. So that's why he's in international waters with his little swimmies on.
State's evidence.
Those little flippers he puts on, they got to be awesome.
I mean, when those people think they're above the law and they do stuff that when it sees the light of day, we're all like, what?
Even Robert Kraft's like, wow.
Even Robert Kraft.
Just wow.
He's looking pretty darn good right now. Like Robert Kraft.
Kraft Services.
When Kraft is looking at you, calling you disgusting.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones is distancing from Kraft. Is like, I don't know what's going on. That's up to their fans.
He's a character reference. Robert Kraft is a straight up character reference for some of these guys at this point in time. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We can get off the owners conversation just because it's still going on. I thought at any given time it would. I thought we were going to miss the show last week when they announced it, and then I was like, no, it didn't happen. I'm like, oh, thank God. We'll next Tuesday we'll catch it. No idea when this is going to happen at this point in time. It will happen.
How about Ursay? Speaking of.
How about Daniel Snyder's
coming
guy
out today saying hopefully it's over by October?
Yeah,
you can't do this in October.
How about the 4 owners we just discussed? That's quite a foursome.
Yes.
Terrible.
What a great
Ursay's not drinking enough, or he's drank way too much.
Oh, he's burnt at this point.
I don't know which one it is, but you don't come out today and say, "Oh, maybe it'll be done."
This is a problem. The owners have finally figured out that what we've known for 20 years is that Dan Snyder isn't a take 2 Tylenol and call me in the morning problem. He is a rash that doesn't go away. He's going to take shots. It's going to take
He is a rash.
The owners are like that. That to me, when you hear Ursay say that, that's him being like, listen, man, the medicine for this disease is not it's not quick acting. Like we're going to need some time for it to take effect. And listen, we might lose this might be a the fact that you would even think about it being a mid-season transaction, it boggles my mind. But
Makes no sense.
Yes, but we're watching the team function football-wise pretty solidly in his absence, which if you ever wanted to have a Redskins football Commanders team where Dan Snyder was hands off, this is your perfect situation because he's not even allowed to be, he's not even in the country, for the most part. So this is the most hands-off Dan Snyder owner era team of all time, and we'll see how that works.
Are there viral rashes that you need?
Something.
Yeah,
It's something. It doesn't go. It's not going to clear up quickly, and there'll be a commercial.
Cream does not get rid of it.
No, I mean, well, not right away. The commercials for this, whatever the solution, like the medicine. You know how there's all these pill commercials and every kind of disease. That's the commercial I want to see. The commercial, like the medicine that they came up with finally, the experts that cures you of Dan Snyder.
I thought you were going to say he looked like the Mucinex guy, because I thought you were heading there, but
the Mucinex guy is it's like Robert Kraft at this point in time.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
the Mucinex guy looking pretty damn good. Mic gains are still a bit high, Robert Cohen, but main volume is good. Okay, that one we can work on.
you should see it. It's like a real studio down here. There's all kinds of bells
Like a
and whistles.
monitor?
Yeah.
Monitors.
A real camera.
All right, look now here.
A half-naked 40-year-old man.
Well,
That's not
the wrong
That's
half.
not a prop, Kev.
It's not the half that I was hoping for. Let's see if this will work.
Ken's gimp.
Oop. No, that didn't work. It didn't work, but we'll try.
You're
I got
trying
this.
to do something fancy?
I'm not trying to do something fancy.
Here we go. He's
All
got
right.
it.
I wanted to put this on because Greg Martin sent it, and I thought it would be fun to do. But because it's not National Ice Cream Day. But
I think you can do it.
Well,
I can totally do it.
Are we worried about?
Wrong button.
What's Brett doing?
It's close.
No, don't put that on. He'll pay any price.
Remember hunting down the old roommates for rent, bills, and a spice fee.
It's not working.
I didn't know that was a word.
Spit roast?
No.
You never knew spit roast?
No, the last one of the first sentence.
You know what? It's stupid me for repeating words that are appearing on the screen in front of me.
Yeah, stop saying spit roast for
I
God's
know,
sake.
I'm going to stop, and no one needs any frame of reference for
Is
that.
there Cornish Dan Snyder? Is that what you're thinking of? There you go.
Yes. So I found some old pictures from the early days, and I thought I would try to figure out a way to get these up here, but we'll see. We'll make it work.
Whose early days?
Our early days. We have early
What?
days now. I know.
We taught aerobics class.
Yes. Well, teach is a
We were
very
doing
strong
anything. We were
term.
doing anything for money back in the
Don't sleep on my cycling class, dude.
mid-teens. Remember?
Your cycling class was
T
the
spin
best.
class was the bomb. It was exhausting. Not for T, but he understands.
No, but I was doing it in my mind.
Your leadership is what counted.
Yeah.
All right, what are you typing in here? Why do I feel like you can pull up
You're
like
about
Greg
to-
Martin's
see,
bio?
you did it again.
Like
I know.
AGH clicks
You're
up.
good
Like
at
how
that
many
logo.
years? How many shows?
You're really good at the logo.
We'll just do that. See if that works.
See if that one works. Yeah, there you go.
All right. We figured it out. So we finally figured it out. And this was sent to me. I would like for you guys, I'll make that bigger for you guys here inside. All right, there you go. Which one? Let's go with a top three. I already know mine, but Kevin, you're first. Top three, just to clear the mind. I was like, we got to get this. This is a antiseptic to get the Dan Snyder conversation over and done with. So just a
I
quick.
got it. Chipwich, chocolate eclair, strawberry. Well, it's strawberry shortcake, but strawberry eclair, fine. Chipwich, chocolate eclair, strawberry, and not necessarily in that order.
Tea.
Chipwich, strawberry eclair, and creamsicle.
Yeah, that was a tough call.
Creamsicle's so good.
Creamsicle was a tough call to put it fourth because it was certainly my fourth, but
Chipwich and eclair, and I'll go strawberry eclair and then chocolate eclair. The strawberry eclair is just never see it
I
coming.
have that above the chocolate eclair, but the toasted almond, I mean,
Sure.
it's arousing.
The toasted almond is the best.
It's always been arousing.
It's ridiculous.
You never judge a book by its cover. Toasted almond never screamed out to a 5-year-old and said, "Eat me."
They always have them.
But
They're so good.
The Jerry,
But-
the Jerry,
but once you did,
Jerry Snyder. I said Jerry Snyder.
Jerry
Chipwich,
Snyder.
strawberry shortcake. Everyone's calling it strawberry shortcake. I know it.
yeah, that's what it was called.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it is.
Choco Taco, am I wrong in remembering that it was only
Never had
available
one.
at Taco Bell for a while initially?
Well, it was in 7-Eleven, like in the freezer burnt section.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and it was not exact. People freaking love that shit. Like everyone was like Choco Taco. Like it was never in my arsenal. I hate to say it. People on this board are going to say "F you, Kevin," and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I've heard it all day.
If it's
Not a big.
100%
I've never had
healthy,
a Choco Taco.
It's so good.
Is it?
If you get it out of the freezer burnt section, like if you go to Taco, like
Right.
But not.
It
freezer
was
burnt.
sold at Taco Bell. I do remember those. I do remember that.
NES Tecmo, back me up on this. There was a Taco Bell right across the street. There's a Taco Bell across the street from everything. I know. I understand this. Everyone has a Taco Bell street, but across the street from McNamara, and we'd go over there right after school. And I wasn't a big. I didn't. Everyone would jam down. 8 tacos for $4.17, and I was just 2 Choco Tacos. That's all. That was my order.
Well, if you're going to combine a regular taco
brought
with a
the
Choco
Gringo?
Taco, then you are a strong.
Who
son
brought the
of a bitch.
Gringo to Taco Bell?
I mean, I was always just Choco Tacos, and but when they're in perfect condition, there's a few things better, but they are
There's few dairy tacos better than the Choco Tacos.
few dairy tacos. But you're right. I think of the Choco Tacos I bought in my lifetime, I would bet that at least 25 to 35% of them have been. You open it up and you take the first bites, and it's the thing is soggy and the chocolate's messed up, and you're like, you know what? And you eat it because you have to, but
It melted and then refroze.
it melted and refroze multiple times.
Right,
Multiple
It
times.
was inside that plastic. It took
It
a
is.
different shape.
It is. It lost the flavor.
So I apologize for not apologizing, but I was never a Choco Taco guy. Some people are diehards, and I get it. To each their own. But dairy taco, not good for me.
We might be stuck on this on this on this.
Don't sleep
forever.
on the just straight up ice cream sandwich though.
The ice cream sandwich is a staple and it works great.
I knew you were gonna love it. I love it too. I'm not gonna lie.
Good.
It is a staple.
I'm just queuing up a couple
Even
of
the
things.
bad ones are good.
Even the bad ones are good for
Ice cream sandwich.
ice cream sandwiches. Yeah, but well, it depends. It depends. Like what's the? There was one that had like ice. It was like a.
Depend.
No, it depends. Like the cookies, I've bought one where the cookie was messed up. It wasn't good.
What I mean,
They messed up the cookie. I mean, the ice cream is the ice cream, but if you mess up the cookie on top and bottom, and it's simple, right? Because I think 89 to 98% of all ice cream sandwich brands buy their top and bottom from the same exact company.
You don't buy your bottoms elsewhere.
If you're going for your tops, you better believe they're getting their bottoms from there too. But there's 2% of companies that are like, you know what? We know better than everyone else. We're making our own tops and bottoms, and they're terrible. And they're awful. I don't want them anymore. Not a lot of football moves. I mean, football moves are being made. I
not
like
enough. It depends on
Yeah.
who you talk to, too. I mean, some people are really upset that they still haven't done enough on the line, although we've, signed a bunch of dudes. But
Oh yeah, we're just adding football players. There's no
only one
Darren
starter.
Payne.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll start.
I'm starting to get nervous about Chase Rouillet. I know he's maybe our best
Because of his
lineman.
durability?
No,
Well,
because
he's
of
played
his
10 out of 34 regular season of the last 34 regular season
Yeah.
games apparently, but 8.1 million saved if we release him.
I think he's gone.
And,
I'm
and
not
it
saying that
just
cool. I
seems-
think it's kind of cool thing to
Don't
say,
you
but
think
I
he'd
think
be
it
gone
is.
by now?
No.
No, it's a post June 1st.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
when
it's
we. That's when
post-June
we. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know, but I never thought that before. But now,
But he's damn good.
I think he's gone.
I know, but I agree. I don't know what to think. I just don't have the
How
feeling.
are we in a position to get rid of him?
Well, we're about to draft about 2 tons of beef. Would be my
Yeah,
guess.
I think so too.
But
think
I don't know
he's-
if we are, man. But if he's not healthy and he's making 13 million, it's a lot. 12.4, I think 8.1
He has
after
not
June
been
1st.
healthy. That is true.
I'm not saying I want him gone. If he's healthy, I want him here.
Agreed.
So I'm not against his ability, and we signed him for a reason. We built him up. He got good here. We re-signed him. It's the story we like, but we don't like when you're getting 13 million and you're playing, 2 out of every 10 games.
I will say if I had a vote, I'd rather have him on the team than off the team.
Agreed.
But my belief is that he will be cut. They will take that money and they will spend it somewhere else. I think there's going to be some. I think there'll be a few opportunities in the summer to add like a guy. I don't think they're taking $8.1 million to get like 4 guys.
No,
I think it's gonna be that one guy.
Agree. A veteran guy that gets also post June 1st designated.
Yes.
You know, we all know what happens.
I think it's like a linebacker or a tight end is my guess.
And I think we know that moving to the new season, and then with our ability to draft, what we got to do. There's no way where we can feel great about our offensive line situation right now. I'm not even talking about us three who don't. I'm talking about the Martins and Ron. So we all know what has to happen. We got to beef it up and get a badass cornerback. We've been saying it nonstop, but
I think
that will unhash itself. It will. Like I always say, let the offseason unfold. Everyone's freaking out. We have no cap room. After June 1st, there's going to be a lot of stuff going down. Logan Thomas might not be safe. You start looking around at other guys and other scenarios, and
they've been talking him up. I mean, I never thought for a second that he was safe. The only thing that can save Logan Thomas is if he actually is healthy. And if he actually is healthy, the coaches will talk themselves into keeping a veteran captain tight end because it's literally a huge position of need, and we don't have anybody else. And we're not. But the interesting thing is, before that June 1st thing happens, the draft happens, and at our selection at number 16 in the first round, you're starting to see some jockeying in the 7 to 15 range, where you could see an extra quarterback go. You could see someone jump up for
Anthony Richardson.
Yes, some of these guys that will push a quarterback to us. For the first time ever, I saw someone say with a straight face they thought Joey Porter could fall to us at 16, which I never thought was possible.
He can.
He totally. And I'm racing to the podium with a piece of paper that has his name written on it, if that's the case. And if you really truly believe that Luke Musgrave is Travis Kelce 2.0 or 1. Whatever. I know. Then
I don't know if we have that luxury.
Well,
I hear you. But Cole Turner's going to have something to say about this offense, and Bieniemy's going to have some words about that too. This seems to be the type of scenario.
Anton Harrison, he made his call. He's in. He's going all in, and now
that was a done deal.
Well, no, I'm saying like
the NIL money he gave up.
He gave up
more money than he'll get paid.
Serious NIL money
for one season. But obviously, you can't stay in college forever.
He could push a guy. First of all, he could be available when we draft. Secondly, he could be picked before we draft, which could push a guy like Joey Porter our way.
Mm-hmm. And thirdly, Ron Rivera is not stupid in the name game today. He said we haven't said we would never draft a quarterback in the first round.
That's true.
He just said this. Now, you got to play that game right now because when Richardson's flopping around and everyone thinks that connection with Cam Newton, their numbers are crazy physically.
Sure.
Physically. Cam Newton had a way, way, way better college career than Richardson did. But you look at their numbers, their 40 times, their stature, it's everything Ron fell in love with Cam many moons ago. But that's just what everyone else thinks. Ron's being smart saying that's a possibility because we know what happens. Someone slides in, gives us an extra third. We do nice work with those thirds, so we'll see.
I like the suggestion from the board. The week before the draft, our draft should be a draft. It's like Three Amigos.
How about that shit?
Some people.
That's like surround yourself with smarter people than yourself. You know what? I was always taught that.
We'll put people on the board in charge. Everyone will get assigned a team. We're gonna get people who have multiple teams. Are we
going a full draft? What, 32 man?
We're gonna pick through pick 16.
All right.
We got to get to us, and then we're gonna select for the Washington organization. Can I pontificate just for one moment on the...
No, but you're going to anyway.
Yeah, if that means that I don't get touched oddly, then go right ahead.
I appreciate that.
You got it.
I never said that's what it meant, and those words didn't come out of my mouth.
I don't have a dictionary on hand, so I'm just riding. I'm just seeing what happens. T, you in?
He's going to say a lot of words that you and I won't listen to. Nice.
I know.
That's
so the
that's what pontificate means, huh?
I know. I know how to work that one button, and I'll work. There's like 1,000 buttons, but I know that one. So
gross, dude. That's a gross thing to say in
Why
front of
would
the board.
that be the one button?
That's the one button.
That's the one button that you wanted to learn.
It's just the
Both.
There's
The one button, spit roast. Like,
all right. Listen, that was a foul tip. That was a foul tip. I'm still at the plate. I'm still at the plate.
I thought I caught that while thing over here.
Is this working?
All right, so Ron Rivera's in charge. Ron Rivera's making all the calls. Dan Snyder is not, and I think that's been made pretty clear. This is the most hands off he's ever been as an owner. It's the last gift he gave us. The only gift really that he gave us was by actually being hands off. He's been promising it for 20 years. He's like, I promise I'm never going to make any more decisions. And then every year they're like, by the way, Dan Snyder's been making all the decisions. So Ron Rivera's in charge. He's in year 4 of his contract. He is, he's not like a Johnny-come-lately kind of coach. He's been around for a while. I don't think he's out of the age where he's thinking, if I can just get one more good year in, and then I'll go home and walk off in the sunset. I think you have a scenario where the Ron Rivera-led front office, which that's what it is, it looks at this year, because they know something about Sam Howell that we don't. They've been super close to Sam Howell. If they are that comfortable with making him the quarterback,
created something about Sam Howell that we don't.
That's true. That's possible.
I'm not saying they did that. We watched them play. Small sample size. Go ahead. I don't interrupt.
Well,
I enjoyed that sample size.
I love the players that they're starting to put around, sprinkle around the roster, right? And the commitment to the defensive line with the Payne extension, it's all there. Like we all watch football. This team, with better quarterback play, obviously, and that's a big thing, is a competent playoff contending operation.
Way better O-line play.
We need way better O-line play, but that's what I'm saying. So if you go into
talent.
the season and into this draft, specifically into this draft, as a coaching staff, a veteran coaching staff, these are people who are looking 20 years down the road. To some extent, they can really say, you know what, if we went first, second round offensive linemen, like Sam Howell, we could get away with Sam Howell for a whole year, maybe he's a 400 to 500 yard guy, and we have running backs and we have wide receivers, and a plan offensive line. I think there's a real beauty in having a guy like Ron Rivera in charge at this moment, in this right this very second, because I don't think that's not a future mortgaging organizational thought. Like, that is a win now, and that's how, and we can stay good and get better, with that. And that's like a hidden, to me, one of the biggest silver linings of this whole fiasco with Dan Snyder leaving and where we are as an organization is that we have a guy who is in charge, who is not necessarily thinking, like, I need to hit a home run necessarily by getting, by splishy splashing like we've been doing.
Splishy splashing?
At least two offensive linemen, they can start for us in those first 2 rounds, even if we don't get that corner, is a big deal for us to win.
Unbelievable
right away.
Here's the beauty, and I love that you said beauty. The beauty is that this franchise is set up to do this: play badass defense, which we do believe we have the ability to do, especially with some type of corner from somewhere. One more big time corner sets us up nicely. We run the shit out of the ball, and we're going to go to a play action scenario, which is a beautiful thing to watch. This is set up for the proper way to win in this league. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel with some offensive scheme. We've got 2 guys on staff that have had the number 1 or 2 defense at least 6 or 7 times in the history of their career, and the number 1 guy, play caller, whatever you want to call him, offensive coordinator, coming in from the number 1 offense in the NFL for 3 of the last 4. So the beauty is that we're set up for success in a tried and true football scenario right there with a game plan. We have got to shore up the offensive line so we can run that thing, much less just stop that run with that D-line we've invested all our cash money into. But the fact that we know we got to build this offensive line up, and we are going to, and we're going to come in there and run that shit and play action, because Sam Howell needs this. You cannot do this with Sam Howell unless we make 2 or 3 more major moves on the offensive line. That happens. And this is, hey, look, everyone's ass is on a 1-year deal right now. Bieniemy, Ron Rivera, everyone. Every coach, anyone involved. It's a one and done possibility. So I don't think we're going to draft for a one and done scenario, but I know this. We know what we need. And corners and offensive linemen are plentiful. So we get a couple of those guys. We're putting ourselves in a very sneaky position, man.
So, but the thing about Ron Rivera is the 3 of us and people on the board and the whole community in week 8 or 9, we were starting to be like, all right, like maybe the Ron Rivera thing's run its course. The Carson Wentz thing didn't work out. We were kind of like, all right,
Who? Carson.
I know, but I don't think we're bad enough to be so bad that the new owner runs Rivera out. No. I think that, and also, this exact team, when Dan Snyder took over, he had this exact question posed to him, and because he had Norv Turner and he had Charlie Casserly, and he fired Charlie Casserly. And I know, they famously said he called Casserly and said I fired the wrong guy.
Snyder would never do that.
He says he did.
He would never do that.
Snyder told me that's my face. I interviewed Snyder in his office in 2009, and he told me in quote unquote, I fired the wrong guy. But he was never going to fire.
Were you guys drinking, and did he whisper this into your ear? Did he say this into a microphone?
No, this was my one big interview I had with Dan Snyder. I was the only person who interviewed him.
Super cool.
Yeah, but he said that. He also lied about other stuff, which we know about, because he lied about the Donovan McNabb stuff, and he lied about some Mike Shanahan stuff that's come out in recent years.
He said he liked your shirt. Lie.
Well, he said it wasn't just my shirt.
I know that man's game. I know exactly how this unfolded.
But so
how do you get a one-on-one with Snyder? We'll get into that.
It was they thought they were getting one over by going to Hogs Haven and not going to the Washington Post. I mean, this is part of his long-running game against all local media.
I love it.
And you bit hook, line, and sinker.
It was great. I was the only one who interviewed him for 11 months straight, and everyone was like, how did you get an interview with him?
He signed a waiver that said we don't discuss biting. The waiver was signed. As a lawyer, you respect it.
Yes.
The new owner comes in, and I think whichever one of these groups it is, I think they're smart enough to be like, well, the last guy made the wrong call, and we can at least take a second or two. I don't think anyone's coming in with pre-baked options. Sean Payton's gone. He was the only guy that we know of that they consulted potential buyers about bringing on board here. If we have an 8-8 or better season this year, I don't think Ron Rivera's gone at all.
You can't. I don't think you can. I think if Rivera gets this team into the playoffs, I think it's very hard for the next owner, unless he's already got some preconceived notion that knows what the hell You can't do that. He's held this ship together and then gotten them to the playoffs.
Yeah,
he's doing something right. Now, if he doesn't make the playoffs, I think it's a fair game.
And then we get Caleb Williams. It's very easy.
Yeah.
Then at that point, we just donate all of our resources to getting the greatest.
I'll probably do that anyways, though.
I'm just saying. We're right now.
Santa House will look like 5,000 yards.
Right now, we're one of probably a half a dozen possible teams that are going to need a quarterback next year, possibly. You know what I mean? Everyone else is just tied into it contractually. Don't get me wrong. I'm not rooting against him. How I love the guy, but you guys know where I stand on this.
Oh, I know, and we've been watching the whole thing happen, and there's some local ties to some of the ownership groups who would get it 100%, and there's a cost associated with. And the other thing, this is as the guy also who wants Caleb Williams as our starting quarterback, and I'm getting NES Techvo, please keep the Mustang hate to a minimum here, and the Stag hate and the Cadets. The fact that we all want this guy on our team should absolutely say something. I
agree.
And you think to yourself, if let's say Sam Howell has an all-pro year, he's 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, we make it to the second round of the playoffs, and you're thinking, we got the guy. Part of me is thinking, someone's gonna want to trade a lot for this guy. You know what I mean? Because to get Caleb Williams, I can't silence it in my head. I can't.
Don't, because listen, somebody is gonna sell out for this guy.
And I know, and it might be us. And
let's not get too far ahead of it.
It'll feel so weird because we've done it so many times before.
13, 14 months out, we're in a position that it's a possibility. This is all we hoped for years ago when we saw him at 11.
Yes. So Peyton's son is coming out at some point, but let the Colts fawn over him or whatever, some Midwest, whatever.
Dude, the dude he's competing with is a top 5
he's
guy.
He's got to prove himself first.
Yeah, he does.
Manning's not. He shouldn't be just crowned because he's got a last name.
That's the shouldn't be is exactly the proper phrase, because right now I automatically am a believer, and it's not the right thing to do. I've never seen him throw a pass. I saw him flip the ball, which you're not supposed to do in a 7-on-7, and my son was like, "That's cool." I was like, "No, it's not."
Yeah, but Paul Western, you
don't do that. You don't need to do that. That's a turnover waiting that. Then I was like, God.
You can't tank for a quarterback.
Get some more milk, take a nap, and chill the shit out.
You can't tank for a quarterback.
No, you can't tank for shit.
No, you can't
Tanking
tank.
fundamentally is against all. I'm saying this: if we don't make the playoffs, that means that the Sam Howell thing wasn't perfect, or maybe it means that he'll be all right. But all I'm saying is this: everyone's on a 1-year contract. We are at this point.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about somebody next year.
I thought it was day to day, but
Well, we're always day to day. Last week's explosive diarrhea scenario has shown everyone that. Well, not for us. For
it was
some.
only throw up.
Oh, sorry.
Only front end.
And on that note, if you haven't yet subscribed to First Women's Sports, please do so. The button's right at the bottom. It's free. We love it. It would help us out. It's a big deal. We're going for 5,000.
It's a clean button. It's a very clean button.
5,000 subscribers before the season starts. That's our goal. Tell a friend.
Yes, we don't want to taint the legacy, which
Tell a friend.
I've heard 25 times this week about Daniel Snyder of the Redskins, and I've now decided, fellas, I'm going to break it out tonight. It's the worst.
Whip it out or break it out?
Break.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the worst phrase of all time. Like, here was the Washington Redskins legacy. Here was Daniel Snyder's taint. Yeah, for 20-some years, right?
Yeah.
See, we can't say that anymore. So I would just like to end taint the legacy here tonight. Can we
He
do that?
tainted the legacy.
No, but can we end that phrase? When people say like,
because of the visual.
We'll do
and,
that for
right, but who invented this?
We'll just
Like,
pour one out.
It's a horrible visual.
That's gonna be our.
It's a really horrible visual.
That's great.
The phrase is it. The phrase is gone. We just poured one out for the phrase.
Some for our home phrases.
So, yeah, a little for a home phrase.
All the home phrases.
All the home phrases are gone. Yeah,
Your legacy will remain untarnished. See, we got a solution.
I love that that we figured Dan Snyder out early on, but
Yeah, we're only 23, 24 years in.
Yeah.
We've got him pegged.
we got him. We really knocked this one out right before it could really hurt us hard. Hurt us bad. All right, so I wanted to ask a question, and this isn't a do you want Lamar question, because that's not what we're asking. My question is just about Lamar Jackson in general. I want to know what you guys think about the idea that he doesn't have an agent, that his mom's out there talking, to teams for him, that he's doing his thing. I kind of go both ways in terms of it's good to have a guy who knows what's going on, who can read like a 50-page contract, general counsel. That's important. But I think he can get that without having an agent per se.
Yeah, fine. Call him whatever the hell you want.
But he can't talk to teams if you're not an approved agent with the NFLPA.
That's a problem.
That's the issue.
The problem is his stance on guaranteed, that it's all got to be guaranteed. I don't think anybody wants to touch it.
Oh, I do.
I don't think they do.
I think they do. I think they want to touch it.
Well, you guys are very confused about whether or not they want to touch
I think
it.
they want to touch it a lot.
All right,
I think some people are out there wanting to touch it, and I like the issue is teams have to talk to either him or his mom. I guess I don't know if his mom's not a registered agent, but maybe because it's like the mother clause. You can.
She's a registered mother.
She's a registered mother, so like
I
she
think
can
that
talk
gives
to
her a ton of clout.
I think so too, and
But
as well as
You
should.
don't have to take a test for that.
Yeah, I mean, but like, what owner's assistant's like? It's Lamar Jackson's mom. You want to take it? They're like, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that shit. Whatever.
On the flip side, what is a average
It's like a Campbell soup
agent
commercial.
take?
This is ridiculous.
10%? 15%? What's like the average agent take?
Mom Dukes is getting 25.
Oh, no, the mom's getting it, but I'm just saying the notion that you have to have one of those guys, I also hate
it's 10.
because
it's a 10. It's always
it's
I've heard
10%.
10 forever.
It's one thing when you're making like the league average, or between the league minimum and the league average, and you're making $5 million a year, and you're paying some guy that 10% of that. But all of a sudden, if you're a quarterback in 2023, where the market value is $40+ million guaranteed, and you're like, I got to pay someone 10%.
I don't want to interrupt you, but no. Now I go back to Tiger Woods here. 10%
Yes.
is also the tithe for any caddy on the PGA Tour. It got to the point where Tiger and Fluff. Tiger was like, you ain't getting no 10%. So Tiger
Exactly.
invented the number for Fluff and gave him a prospective, phone number to a Denny's waitress to be named in the city next week.
Perry's. It was a Perry's waitress.
Maybe Perry's. Whatever it may be.
Denny's would have been like a
So
step.
Fluff had some inside
She has a
trading
dad,
stuff.
guys.
But no, Fluff didn't get his 10% on a weekly basis from the greatest golfer of all time. That shit changes when the money changes.
It's like Matt Kuchar when he went down to Mexico and he played in that one tournament. His caddy couldn't make it. They had to get like a random guy a guy probably who belonged to the club, and he ran around with him for 4 days. And Kuchar won the tournament, and he won like $5 million or whatever he won, and he broke the guy off like $50,000 or some number that wasn't like the average caddy. And the guy was like, "Hey yo." And all the other golfers laughed their ass off, and they bitched out Kuchar for being a bad tipper. But at the same time, they're like, "I'm going to give some guy who showed up on Thursday morning with
The caddies stood and applauded Matt Kuchar.
Yes,
so
of
we've been
course
traveling
they
on this
did.
tour forever. We've been riding buses. We're not sitting shotgun. We're not the hotel.
You're just gonna randomly give this
we're
guy
at the hotel motel.
the full rate for caddies, and he just
Get
did
outta
one
here.
weekend." But so they give him a hard time, and I love Kuchar, and he played well in the WGC match play event, which is always
These dudes
fun.
are trying to
Seems
steal
like a
Scotty
regular
Kimmer
dude.
putters
He does.
out of each other's golf bag to sell at the local
Yes.
watering hole for
Yes.
a weekend's worth of drinking, and then like one autographed pick.
So that's the guy who if
They're
I'm
like
Lamar
parties,
Jackson, I'm like,
man.
if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm thinking I'm Matt Kuchar. I'm like, wait a second.
Right.
So I all of a sudden become one of the highest paid players in the history of the league, and I got to give some jack off 10% just because that's the way it works. Because the thing about it is the system now is such that the league before the league meetings, and there's all these powwows and there's retreats and conferences, and they get together and the registered reps are there, and they're glad handing and they're shoulder to shoulder, and then it's like, and then Lamar's mom and his like family lawyer, and the league is like, you can't talk to them, you can only talk to like the registered people. And Lamar Jackson, I'm like, wait, what the f? Like seriously? Like, this is the most messed up thing ever. Just give me my $200 million. Let me be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and let's just move on.
He's talking about sitting out next year. That might not be the dumbest idea.
No,
at
it's the
time.
smartest
I don't
idea.
know.
I think it's the smartest idea. Because he'll be, what,
Can't get
27?
hurt that way.
No, Deshaun Watson, first of all, he's following the Deshaun Watson model. So he goes, so you sit out for a year, and then you get $250 million guaranteed? Yeah, sign me up for that.
But I do want to say this. Deshaun Watson is the only guy who legitimately tainted his own legacy,
he sure did.
specifically based on his own taint.
Yes.
Because if you read, it was his taint that got him in this hot water. So he's the only athlete that's ever
was.
tainted his own legacy.
But he didn't
Legit.
taint his paycheck.
He did.
That is for damn sure.
He can throw his taint around willy-nilly and get 230 guaranteed, and I think that's what Lamar saw. Lamar, who has never tainted anyone.
Nope. Deshaun muffed the taint, but Lamar has yet to muff
Yeah, when you
the
got
taint.
Kraft and freaking Snyder and all these, there's
It's
a lot. There's a lot of these words, but
if I'm him, I'm definitely thinking I'm one of the best athletes on the planet. I can throw, I can run, I know how to play professional football at the highest possible level. The Ravens have decided as an organization, and I'm not faulting 100% the ideology of we got every possible yard, every possible hit on a defensive lineman, linebacker, and safety that he took. We ran him, and we did well, and we won games. We made people happy, and you know what? We just can't commit $250 million to this going forward.
that's why we're not in.
That's why we're not in. Fine.
He's a badass. We all know it.
But you know
That's
what?
too much money for what we got going on right here.
Don't play for $30 million, Lamar. Don't play for 1 year, $30 million. That is a bad business decision. I hope his family lawyer still.
So I base all my business decisions, on whether or not I get hit by a bus every day.
Okay, sure.
If
There's a
someone
lot of
said,
buses.
I love how you're saying though, just willy-nilly, I'm just saying, I'm free flying here. You're like, don't play for 1 year and $30 million.
Don't do it.
I'm sitting over here going, what does the world come to that Ken's probably
know.
right. And
It's
by the
crazy.
way, I would remove one of anything on my body to play 1 year of football for $30 million. Of
course.
Name it. Eyeball, nostril, ear, butt cheek.
I know, but that's already 1 year. So he's
Achilles
already
tendon.
he's on,
It
Can't be
he's on
something
5
that you
years.
need to
You
play
know it.
football, though.
I don't care. I need all this shit, I think. Like, it was given to me by someone who knew way more about it than I
You
do.
could probably get away without an ear. You could play football.
I'm going to Van Gogh this shit.
Yeah.
I can't hear, I'm here, though.
He already played that year. He already played that year for what we would have played. So, like, when he was a rookie, what was he making? $5, $6, $7 million, something like that?
Who, Lamar?
Yeah.
No chance.
Oh, was he number
3.1?
Okay, 3.1.
Yeah,
That's fine.
then like 4 points on it.
Elevated up
I think
through.
he got his
14 or 15 million
14 or
dollars
15 for the 5th year, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And that's what it was. So
we would have played 1 year of football for whatever he played.
you know what I would give right now?
I know.
No, but that's not how it works, and that's not what I'm talking about. And that's we got to get that part out of our head as fans.
Yes.
Like what Lamar's doing is best for Lamar's family, and Lamar has earned the right to do that. You're a freaking NFL MVP, and your mom is running the Campbell Soup scenario, and
He's earned the right to negotiate, but I don't. No one. I
have
think
questions
anybody
about
really
it.
wants to.
I have questions about it, but I don't think they want to. I think no one knows what to do. He wants that guaranteed money. That's a big nut for everybody.
For the way he plays the game and how he needs to be available for that to pay off.
And for a majority of his career, he has been, and he's wised up about how to take the hits. But you can't. I don't give a shit how you play the game. That's still a ton of guaranteed money. I hate, and so did the league. They hated when Deshaun Watson got that guaranteed money. Jimmy Haslam screwed every owner in the league. It was just so stupid to get a.
That's why I don't think it's going to happen again. Yeah. Somebody needs to talk some sense with it.
But this isn't.
And I'm not saying
baseball.
Take a huge cut. I'm not saying back all the way off. But get somebody credible in there who can crunch some numbers and get somebody to at least say, this is more reasonable. This is going to get people to finally, because you as an organization, you have to be able to at some point be able to play with the money on the back end of a contract and either keep them or add new guys or
I agree.
do something. You do that guaranteed, it's done. There's no negotiating. There is no moving. There is no.
Yep.
No, there's none of that.
Well,
no wiggle room.
I think about the NFL salary cap situation. The quarterback is going to continue to take up a bigger and bigger chunk of that. If you have top 5, top 6 guys, I saw that comment too. I will call it out in a second. But to your, I just want to speak to T's T's point. Anytime you sign up to the right quarterback at today's market value on a long-term contract, unless that guy gets injured out of the league, you've made a good business decision. And I do think Lamar Jackson is one of those guys. I think the Ravens are. You know what? I remember I said the Rams should never have signed Jared Goff to that deal. I think the Ravens should sign Lamar Jackson to this deal. He fits them. He is them.
Goff's back end of this contract has looked way more impressive. What
Sure,
he did
yes.
for the Lions last year was tremendous, but they can't sign him again.
No.
So somebody can.
Jared Goff, by the way, is going to be a pro for a while, and he's going to ride the quarterback carousel in this league, which is one of the coolest things. Which spins me back to the point that I was getting onto earlier, which was yet again probably at least four first-round quarterbacks coming out in this draft for quarterback needy teams. No team with no Green Bay Packers situation where they have Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers and they draft the next good guy. These are 4 guys who are coming in the league to start. There's going to be a year or two, I'm hoping it's next year, where there are slots that are just getting filled on a continual basis. How that shakes out in terms of quarterback depth in the league. We haven't seen 32 good quarterbacks in this league for a while.
Because there isn't.
Because there's not.
Because there's never been.
So are we inching closer to that? Are we inching? I always want to know are we inching closer to that? Because to me, that's the total win success of the NFL is if they can ever find a time when they can get to 32 good quarterbacks, like 32 legitimate quarterbacks. Man, then I think the league is going to be that's when the true golden age of this league, in my opinion, will occur. And we haven't seen it yet, but we're getting close.
I'm juiced to make one point based on everything you just said because I love it, and I also was just taught how much this league has benefited from the quarterback position. Chase Daniel, I read yesterday, is going into his 12th year in this league. Chase Daniel, how about this? 12 years, he's thrown 9 touchdown passes. And made $42 million. So I did the numbers. That's 3.7-ish per touchdown pass. Tom Brady's made $333 million playing football, just football. But if he got the Chase Daniel deal for 3.7 per touchdown pass, he would have $2.73 billion playing football in the NFL. So Chase Daniels' ass is legit. I think he's got 186 completions. He's been a backup quarterback for eternity. He started with us. He has thrown 9 touchdown passes historically in his entire life, and he's made $42 million. I think the quarterback position is in a very good place for being brutally average.
That's right.
Now, when the bar gets raised here, high tide raises all ships. Now, the Chase Daniels are going to get paid even more as long as that becomes a competition level. And now I think this. High school offense, college offense is so much more farther advanced than it has been over eternity. The NFL game has become what it is, and these guys are playing NFL-style football at a way earlier age. These quarterbacks are coming in ready to play, and we'll find out more about them early on. It's an evolutionary
scenario for that position.
And we'll find out more about them early on. They're either going to be able to play or they're not. We don't need to fucking sit around for 4 or 5 years now.
Because there's so many old ball bag coaches that still exist in the league, thank God, because we need them this year. But there's so many old school scenarios that are happy to get the Jeff George looking guy who with the bike shorts and the mid calf socks and walking in who could throw the ball 85 yards with a flick of the wrist.
Stash, don't forget the stash.
And the stash.
Yeah, Uncle Rico, don't forget.
The Uncle Rico. I'm excited. I think it's an evolutionary situation for the quarterback spot, and that's why I am using tonight's show to advocate for the third emergency quarterback dressing rule. I think it needs to come back. I want the NFL to adopt it. It's being pushed in these league meetings, and it'll be talked about again before the season starts. You should, in fact, I will argue, we need the league to tell teams to dress a third guy for emergencies who will almost never play. I don't care. Yeah. That's an investment in the position. That's an investment in the quarterback position, which it's the easiest investment to make. It's the easiest decision. It's the easiest yes. Invest in the position in which you've taken so much time and effort to protect through rules and regulations around what defensive linemen can and can't do, which will change again.
But defensive linemen are going to be sitting here listening to you and saying, wait a minute, I can't tissue paper tickle this son of a bitch. But yet we're going to get more of them?
Yes,
because
more of them. Well, but those defensive linemen know if they got a guy who can play coming off the bench, number 3. Otherwise, if the game is truly over after 2 quarterbacks, then that and in most cases
it was for San Fran.
It was for San Fran, and
that might have been 3. I think that was 3.
No, that was their 4th quarterback. Josh Johnson.
Yeah, well, JJ, his dynamite no longer explodes. But I do know that it's cool that he played for 16 teams.
Yeah. and I am not caring 1 second about San Francisco's bitching and moaning about whatever. I don't care about that. That's not why I want to be an emergency quarterback to be dressed.
It's obvious.
If they change the rule to let you have an extra player, and there's not a head coach worth his weight in dirt who would not want to dress a guy who has a way better chance of getting on the field on Sunday at linebacker or defensive line or offensive line or wide receiver or whatever than a third-round quarterback who the game's probably already lost if you go to him.
If you get a D lineman from a different continent, he doesn't count against your freaking 53.
Yes.
If you get a D lineman from somewhere else on planet Earth, he does not count against. So why wouldn't the number 1? It just makes no sense, and it will get passed. How can it not? And eventually, they're going to have the little escalator for the 3-step drop. You don't even have to. Yes. It just takes you back to 3, and then you get to make your own choice. But here's the deal. Right now, this is what we're dealing with.
My fingers.
This is what we're dealing with, and none of us like it, but it's what it is. And the NFL needs these quarterbacks to be healthy.
Yes,
we do.
But if you don't incentivize organizations to dress these guys and invest time and effort in them, and give them the reason to. Just give them a reason to, because, it's not just about a guy who's going to have to come in and play for 4 or 5 or 6 weeks for you, in which case if you're down on franchise quarterback and you're playing your third guy, I get it. But the Chase Daniels, like the Taylor Heineke's.
Can you imagine?
The guys who have been invested in and who have actually shown that they can actually sling the ball and keep a team in games and provide a little bit of a spark. I mean, that is where the league has to be at this exact position. So don't make it so that you just have an extra guy to dress. Every single one of us would dress a stud athlete over a third-string quarterback who's never going to play. Every one of us would.
I also know that we have one backup quarterback for 1 year, so we're drafting a guy this year. And
I hope so.
I hope so. I don't think we have an option because we can't pay that number. So our third guy has got to be coming from the draft.
Yes.
We're not reaching out and paying someone $4 million to sit there and be the second clipboard holder. Like, we already got a guy holding a clipboard.
Yeah. And I think even Chad Henne would be too expensive at this point in time if he ever decided to come out.
Yeah, I mean that means we'd have to off somebody.
Yeah,
Whoever that may be, and there's only a few candidates.
It's a mid to late round guy.
Restructure, or like, here's the deal. Listen, if we sign Cam Crow, that's not helping us. It's not like we're losing money. Like, there's no backloading of the contract. Like,
no.
If we do that, that'd be beautiful, but it's not helping our salary cap scenario. So
No.
something else would have to happen. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen post June 1st. So
Yes.
we'll see. But I know that we need to draft a third quarterback. I know that we have to.
We have to.
So maybe next week let's all
business.
figure out who we want that guy to be.
All right,
in what
next
rounds.
week,
Shit.
come with your 5th plus round prospect quarterbacks who have some upside. If you're in the business of developing quarterbacks, you're in the right business in the NFL. Like you'll never ever go broke.
Andy
QBs.
Reid taught all of us that.
And Bill Belichick for that.
Of course.
Yeah,
100%.
some guys. Joe Gibbs for
Castle.
I mean, for
Matt
God's
Castle
sake.
never started in goddamn college. He tears his ACL week 1.
Brian Hoyer.
He goes 10-6 and misses the playoffs, or 11, maybe 11-5, and he missed the playoffs, but he had a hell of a year. I mean, whatever.
By the way, that reminds me, this week's prediction about Tom Brady, because you have to have a Tom Brady prediction. All right, so
How is he avoiding this Instagram model? How is he doing this?
Hold on. Jimmy Garoppolo is probably getting hurt this year. Call it stepping out on a limb.
Are you talking off the field? Because him in Vegas, his off-field injury scenario goes through
There's
the roof.
no way he makes it. I'm going to say there's no way he makes it 12 weeks. If he makes it 12 weeks, I'll consider it a win. If he makes it 12 weeks. So Tom Brady.
There's a pill that can make it only 6 weeks now.
Tom Brady just bought into the Las Vegas Aces,
I know.
co-owned by, I believe, Mark Davis,
Yes.
right?
Worst haircut in the game.
Worst haircut in the game /
It's so sinister.
doing it on purpose. Hashtag doing it on purpose. Hashtag doing it on purpose for decades.
Hashtag, well, hello, my name is Simon.
Yes. I did this for real. So
And I like to do drawings.
and I like to.
LARPing's fun.
He is so gross looking.
He is so gross
He
looking.
looks so creepy. I feel like he just took his helmet off and Darth somebody just slashed him across the grill and he's gone.
I think he's a LARPer, like by day. And he's like the king, and that's his.
Here's the scenario:
He's King LARPer.
Raiders are 8-2. Jimmy Garoppolo, like I don't know, he comes down with a blood disorder. I don't even know what he can have. What can happen to him anymore? But he's just
It's
gonna.
an STD.
It's gonna be something.
STD.
It'll be listed as an upper body injury.
Lower
body injury.
middle.
Middle body injury, and he'll be out. And to me,
with a chance.
there's no chance in the world Tom Brady isn't ready to start the next week. And at that point in time, if you're not betting on the Raiders to win the Super Bowl, you are an idiot. You're a total idiot. I'm just going to throw that into the world right now because that is what's going to happen.
All right.
All right. And now we have the technology to pull that back off.
If you have the technology to get that asshole's haircut up here every week, I'd like to look at it because I'm just going to be honest. Anyone that's having a bad hair day should just look at this guy once and be like,
But he's having a good hair day every day.
sir, he's worth 80
In
gazillion.
his world.
Check out this guy. What do you think about that? Now, T,
I was never here.
you
when
were
he was
not here the night we had this show. By the way, we're getting a Christmas tree back in the studio. That is a fact of life.
Well, Charlie Brown right now is sad for us because isn't he the one that rectified that other one? Like, Ken, you've always done great at the Christmas time, but that's like that the Grinch threw that one off somebody.
Those are early days.
Patio.
Those are early days. There's a
I know.
bottle of Basil Hayden, man in the shirt, as our boy
Why are
Fred
you
said.
attacking the tree, man?
What's that?
Why is he attacking the tree?
Because my fat head is thicker than that entire Christmas tree.
I think
All right, sorry. You know what? We're gonna get that out there. Let's go.
No, I don't care.
But how about this guy? Look at that guy with the Dematha
fun.
Pride shirt. He looks
fun.
great. How many mics are on you right now? It looks like there's 5 mics on you. I can't like that. That's such a busy picture in the same spot. You're just crushing
Looks
it.
like he got pulled over for driving weird in the future.
All right, no one say a word. This question to the board: who is Kevin talking to? Call it now. Who is Kevin talking to? That is a person. That is a person of.
It's not Usher Raymond.
It's not Usher. All right, I want to see. We're on a delay with the board, so we have to leave that up there for a hot second. You lost me the Raiders rating too. I understand. By the way, Paul Western, where are you coming from? Where's Paul Western coming from? That's what I want to know.
Well, I believe he's coming from West.
All right, there it is. We're up on the board. Okay, so people can. Who is that on our show in this basement with some golf clubs behind him? Benjamin's back there. We still got some Basil Hayden. No, it's not Alfred Morris. Not Alfred Morris. Hint is it's irrelevant to this exact
I know who.
situation. I know you know. Of course you know.
Well, at first I couldn't remember, but then I know.
I don't give a damn. We're having at least a one-round draft for under.
Okay, fair enough.
At some point.
We are.
Well,
I want everybody.
I want to know.
If your screen has been blinky tonight, give us a thumbs up just so I can get an accurate count of of blinky screens. We had some blinky tonight from YouTube, the old YouTube. All right, I'm gonna count it down. I've given you guys a chance. He played in one of the biggest, most amazing, fun finishes of a national championship. Hint, hint. Game winner that we've seen in the last 6 years? 5 years. 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. None other than Chris Jenkins. He hit the game-winning shot for Villanova.
And he said that on South Street in Philadelphia,
Yep.
Ishka Bibbles.
Ishka Bibbles.
Ishka Bibbles.
I wanted to go
Ishka
so bad.
Bibbles has taken over
I almost
as
went.
the new best place to get a Philadelphia steak. Sorry, I say steak and cheese. Down here's a steak and cheese. Up there it's a cheesesteak.
No, thumbs up on. Hit the thumbs up on the board, guys. Go ahead. Sorry, Ishka Bibbles.
No. Those are great thumbs up, though.
No,
I know, but
you gotta
it's, no,
click-
it's
you
not
gotta
rude that we
click.
got 4 thumbs ups.
That's not rude. They already gave it to us.
It was super nice.
They already gave it to us. It's just the McNamara connection. Like, Mustang me.
Chris
Mustang
Jenkins
me.
is a great dude, man.
Chris
That was
Jenkins is a
night.
great dude. How about speaking
Hit
of
an
great,
NCAA dagger that could never be rivaled.
how about speaking of great dudes? How about that guy right there?
Jeff Clay.
argue
Big
with that.
play in the house.
He's about half that size now.
It's true.
I feel bad putting. You know, he's just got to.
No, it's all right.
He's got to
You
come
just
back
said
here and
you
do
felt
more.
bad with me and the greatest shot in NCAA history. It looks like I ate Ishka Bibble and Bibbles and Chris Jenkins. It looks like I dined on everyone.
Dude, I can't do our past. I mean, I'm
I'm
sorry.
I'm proud of it.
You lost 1,000 pounds.
I was chunky.
sorry.
I was chunky but funky.
You were-
That's how I like to think of it. I
right.
don't know what that means, but funky is PU.
Give you a little
Why
more
are you
Jeff
so
Clay.
funky? Yeah.
Now this day, by the way, and I have other pictures from this day that I did not put up here, but they will come up before the show's done. Not tonight.
Ken tried to carjack me
What
that
are
night,
you
but
wearing?
First of all, I'm wearing McNamara colors. NES, back me up.
You look like you're about to start throwing it down.
First of all, I
we
threw it
did.
down.
That day, Chase Young threw it down, and DeMatha upset
Beastie
St.
Boy
John's
style.
late. Oh, no, that was St.
He
John's
looks like he's about to lay
That
on a
was
track.
that was at Bird State.
Yes.
Was it Bird or was
Caleb Williams was a freshman. He
Caleb
lost
Williams,
the championship
exactly.
to St. John's. So
there's the Eagles helmet on the poker table, which we set up the poker table in the parking lot.
That's true.
We that's the Avalanche in the background there with the Redskins wall.
it was a great day.
I was wearing Redskins colors / McNamara Mustang colors, but this was St. John's versus Gonzaga.
There was burgundy and gold Zubas on underneath that Apple Mac.
They were
right there.
under ruse.
Oh, God. I had so many underoos. Until I didn't.
That
It
was-
went quickly at my house.
Caleb Williams' freshman year in high school, just so everyone has an understanding of what this was all about. Caleb Williams was a freshman in high school. He played for Gonzaga. He was, no one kind of knew how old he was or how big he was, but that's a testament also to how good he was. Everyone was like, wait a second, are you sure he's not like a 23 years old? Like, because he was just that good always. But they didn't have what it took as an organization to take down St. John's that day. That was what, Hogan? Not Hogan, Doyle.
Yep. That day was Doyle.
Doyle was the quarterback for St. John's that day.
He just had a pro day at the University of Arizona.
MJ Sherman was on that St. John's team.
MJ Sherman just transferred from Georgia to Nebraska. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to see him lighting it up for the Cornhuskers next year. And Matt
Hmm.
Rule, the first transfer they got, and it's going to be a big time deal.
My security shift at the stadium, Greg Martin. I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah,
I'll throw that in there real fast since we're talking about offensive line. We have a ton of pictures. By the way, we're gonna get Matt
That
Steele
is
back
beautiful.
involved. Joe
That's a
Bugle.
beautiful.
May he
That's
rest
a
in peace.
beautiful picture.
That is at.
Joe Bugle, please send us the best O-line coach possible. You know we need it.
Yes.
We need your blessing. We need your as the patron saint of offensive line in this region.
That was at Russ Graham's Hall of Fame induction party
Awesome.
on the grounds at Canton.
Ken, you look full of piss and vinegar right there.
That was a day and a half. There's enough stories from that day to last me a lifetime. From that weekend to last me a lifetime. Let's just do this roll.
Are we doing a photo?
We are.
A photo thing? I like it.
I'm trying to
I don't know
take
if I like it
advantage.
anymore.
I'm
I don't know if I like it
trying. I'm trying. The ice is on the table. Benjamin he doesn't have all his tickets in there yet. I'm wearing glasses.
Why am I about to tackle the board?
Something's happening. You're getting
Not the board, the soundboard.
Yes. Well,
Oh my God.
where's this taking place? You know where that is. That's
Oh, boy.
old. Look at that. That's a lot of hair. You're
That's at the Knights of Columbus.
It is. We took that poker table everywhere, by the way. And that was the old board.
Yeah.
We had the new mics and the arms back then, but I always think about that. I'm like, wait, we just picked up the entire basement and put it down in every possible place. We got some pictures to come in subsequent weeks to prove that point. But and last but not least for tonight, I love that guy, and he's been good to us, and he's local. I don't appreciate a star he wore on his helmet at some point in time, but that comes naturally because he's the man who deserves every single cent he can get for playing professional football for anyone who'll pay it to him.
And the
I
cool
love him.
part
I love him.
was that T-Bird and I played youth football against Sean Springs when we were what? We both did it since we were 8. We did it together when we were 12. 12 and 13, back-to-back years. We stood at midfield with Sean Springs as 12-year-old kids. Very, very, very raw moment.
Yeah,
A couple kids had a suicide pact after some Dungeons and Dragons from his middle school.
That's
we were
right.
supposed to play the next day, and it was found out overnight. All the families and the kids stood at midfield. We all kind of huddled around each other. We kind of checked on each other, and they were like, yeah, we ain't playing today. And
That's
not
right.
one person argued. And in the 80s, that wasn't really always
True.
the case. It was something I specifically remember, and I remember this guy walking around glad-handing and being
Yep.
one of the guys when we were all out there that had some personality. Andre Cooper was out there mucking it up, and that dude can talk with anybody. And T and I just remember all the families, and it was kind of a special moment around here. Life comes at you fast, and all these things that happen with everybody. And it was Sligo Middle School, from what I remember, and all of us had a friend at Sligo. We played Beltway at Sligo. We did all this stuff together. Sean Springs is a class act. That's what I was getting to. Done talking about it.
I love Sean.
Yeah,
I love Sean, and I've done a lot of cool things. So I'm gonna pull in some of these pictures over the next few weeks again, just to try to exercise some of these
You're showing off
capabilities.
your equipment.
But we're going to start building. I want to start building. I want to bring in some videos. I would love to get some clips from some previous shows, to play at the end of the shows. But
Let's get physical. Our aerobics, our first aerobics video.
well,
T's spin class was bonkers. We already determined that.
there's a lot of leg warmers and headbands and sweating for sure. But
Yeah.
not a whole lot of cardio, unfortunately.
No,
I want people to understand that what's been happening in this basement for the last 7 or 8 years is really cool. We have some awesome pictures to come. We're gonna probably do 3 or 4 pictures a week, go on a going forward
They
basis.
cannot wait.
But there's actually some cool people who've been down here
Yes.
that we love,
Oh, it's bonkers.
that people need to clue into. It's blinking.
People want more.
If you are getting a blinker, click the thumbs up. Click the thumbs up. We're gonna figure it out.
Is
I
the
don't know, for
screen
some-
blinking?
All right.
Yeah, for some reason we're getting some blinking tonight.
I knew it. I knew it.
We're going to close out tonight with the theme of long shots in DC that paid off.
That paid off.
Long shots that paid off. Now, we made this. Now, I want anyone who's still with us to give us a idea or two for a draft for next week. while we're doing that, while you guys are giving, okay, don't. I wrote it. Don't so send us what you got for next week.
Please.
Please send us what you got.
No, we want this one from the board.
Yep. We're
And,
from the board.
and board representation. But I'm going to start talking.
Long shots that paid off in DC.
Please, you guys go first.
Well,
Can we just do one or two?
yeah, I just want to do one or two because I've been trying to get all this set up, so I don't have like a whole
I agree.
a board, but because here I am.
We don't need to go through a draft. Let's just have a conversation.
Long shots that paid off.
Yeah.
I spent so much time outside of sports.
A humorous 5-minute conversation.
All right,
fair?
how about number 1?
3-minute.
The half smoke. When I think about the half smoke, I think about a DC product, and I think about
Specifically only.
and I think about something that was great already, the hot dog. I love hot dogs. Who doesn't love hot dogs?
What about the sausage?
And the sausage. I was raised on them. Tom Marangolo would go out to the grill, and he would throw sausages on the grill, and that's what we had for dinner. Sausages. Sausages and hot dogs. 2 amazing things. When I first was introduced to the half smoke, what's that?
Love sausages.
You love sausages.
Yes.
You see, no one can hear you, by the way.
I know. I'm sorry.
You want to take?
You got me by sausages.
He was
I'm
talking
back
to
in.
himself.
Okay,
I
back
heard
in.
his inside voice. He was like, I
Okay.
love sausages. His inside was like, we know.
I said that out loud.
So the DC
Oh.
half smoke, the half smoke, as a long shot to me,
It's amazing.
It is, and not only did it pay off, it's paid off huge. I mean, it's a great thing. It's brought pride to our area.
The ballpark, it's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. So I'm gonna throw the half smoke out.
It's
as a long
amazing.
shot.
The DC half
'Cause
smoke.
How dare someone
I thought-
try to make better sausage or hot dogs? But they did it. Sorry, they did it.
No, they didn't. T, I'll go if you want to, or you go.
I only got one.
Yeah.
It's the Scab Skins, 1987. The long shots that paid off.
What was the quarterback's name? Rupert.
There was 2 quarterbacks.
Rupert was like
The big dog.
Ed. Was it Eddie?
Ed Rupert.
Ed Rupert.
And he was the athlete. And
Yeah,
then
the athlete. Yeah, exactly.
And the other guy, no, but he was a passing stud.
He was.
The other
When you
dude,
say athlete, I'm like.
the other dude was played by
so white.
by
Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves. That's Keanu Reeves.
So Ed Rupert was our dog.
He was
But I
our
think
dog.
but they both played meaningful downs, and we went.
What was the
under-
name of the wide receiver? Whose name?
JJ. All-time leading wide receiver.
Yes. Not McCarron.
No, it's not JJ.
Not John
I'm gonna
Freeze.
punch myself right in the. I'm gonna taint my own reputation here.
You just tainted it. Damn it.
Once you taint
I don't
something,
remember
there's
anything.
no turning back.
See,
That's I just want everyone
This
to
is
remember
why I don't
this.
remember things, so I don't have to worry about.
All right, well, I'm going to tell you this. Here's my biggest long shot. It's because in the history of college football, there is 1 point spread that's never been overcome. It was a DC team that played in Las Vegas, coached by none other than Mike London. Mike London is like the East Coast, like everyone on the East Coast respects this man. He's come up in the game. He was a great player at Richmond, and he played in the NFL for a stint, and then he was a cop. And, dude, he was chasing a dude, and he said all he remembers is the barrel of a gun as he's trying to pull the driver out. The barrel of the gun pointed by the dude in the passenger seat. And he doesn't know if it was the rough and tumble, if the guy didn't have the heart to pull the trigger, but he knows he was staring at it. And he said when that shift ended, he was like, my man just got the job. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe I should change my path. And he was a young father, and Mike London is a kitchen dude like you talk about. If he comes into your kitchen, he won a national championship at Richmond. He went to UVA and was a superstar. Maryland made him the assistant head coach. He takes a job at Howard for 2 years. He goes at Howard in 2017, week 1, to UNLV. It's a 45-point spread. But people don't realize who Mike London is or who Kalen Newton is. Cam Newton's baby brother shows up as a true freshman, rushes for about 200 on these dudes, throws for about 200.
Baby bus.
A 40 is the single highest point spread in the history of Vegas. This game was played in Vegas by Howard and a Mike London coach team. So you want a long shot from D.C., I'm telling you right now. The greatest 45-point spread, Howard won. 45-point spread. The highest recorded in the Las Vegas college football history. The game was played in Vegas. Have I said that 15 times?
Oh no!
Mike London.
No, a lot of people lost
You, sir,
money that
took
day.
Howard and Cam Newton's baby brother.
I know.
Oh, Lord.
That's
so
awesome.
that's it.
That's all.
he ran
I mean,
fast.
That's the underdogs. That's what I'm talking
Mike
about.
London, 45 points.
Marion Barry is my second choice. We'll get into that next week. They were 1A, 1B.
Separate
1A,
show about
1B.
that.
Port Marion didn't have no Kayla Newton. The bitch set me up.
The bitch set me up.
The Vista Hotel.
So I hear you're coming out with a book.
I ordered the Marion Berry room.
I hear you read a book. No, I was booked.
I never should have come up here. He said, I never should have come up
came
here.
back.
You know how many times I've said that to myself? I never
back.
should have done this. That was why. He was the mayor from 79 to 91. In 90 at
Booked.
Vista, booked. He was
then
booked in 90.
back.
Then 95 to 99. I mean, that's a DC long shot. So, shout out
Some
Mike
people
London.
just like cheat on their wives and never get in politics again. This guy did.
Oh, his wife and family dogged him. When he left, he had to come back. He did the deed, and then he paid the price. And
Well,
I think that's why he's no. Part of the story is great. The other part, I'm like, I don't know that part, but I know he did a lot of good things for people.
Sure.
At a time,
He
and I
did.
know that we all f up, and that's what we're supposed to do. So. He got back on the straight and narrow to the best of his ability, and I adore that, and I adore the people of D.C., specifically in Ward 8. They know what he did for them. So,
Well, I mean, I always one thing I thought of that wasn't a high draft pick of mine was Chinatown when they built the old phone booth.
the phone booth. Yeah.
When Abe Poland basically put that spot on the map and really developed it up. That was an awesome situation where they took a spot in the city that needed some facelifting and goodness, and they got it. I loved it. I thought that was that's anytime you put billions of dollars into something, it's it has a good chance of paying off. But the long shot, I think the long shot sports figure that came to mind for me right away was a guy whose name we have to probably put on our list of guys who, since we've been doing the show for 7 to 8 years, when we get to year 15 and year 20, we should still be saying this guy's name because what he deserves is being in the Hall of Fame, and his name is Joe Jacoby.
A+, top of the list. Top of the list.
It's Joe Jacoby.
It's damn right it's Joe Jacoby, man. Undrafted rookie.
This is so at Hogs Haven. It's a website. We started talking about Redskins football based on.
Joe Jacoby. Just wanted to watch. I'm sorry.
Mix the match.
Here, stop.
Don't mix it.
Pour that into mine.
That's how you do it professionally,
Jake
gentlemen.
Jacoby. Jake Jacoby just got into the conversation.
He is a man who was the left tackle. Red, come on across there, buddy.
I think
This
the
is
one
your
thing he
plot.
said is, "Do not touch the camera."
Did he touch the
He
camera?
did touch the camera.
Dude, how did you touch the camera? We're going to have a discussion about that. Now, thankfully, I still think it works. There's some crowd molding now. Greg
Put
Martin's
a
happy.
thumbs up if you're still seeing
He
us.
caressed the camera, to be fair.
He did caress it. Joe Jacoby guarded Lawrence Taylor. And the whole league and the whole idea of football and professional football changed based on that. And guess what? Joe Jacoby dominated that matchup. He dominated that era. And he was the left tackle on one of the best top 2, top 3 offensive lines in the history of the NFL Football League. And if football isn't about offensive linemen, I'm sorry. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. If football isn't about offensive linemen, then what the F is it about? Honestly, what is it about if it's not offensive linemen? We're talking about 100 years of big guys paving the way for God's sake, get this guy in the Hall of Fame. He is a Hall of Famer. He is the long shot that paid off the best for us. Yeah. We won Super Bowls behind him. For God's sake.
Who's the best defender we ever went against?
Lawrence Taylor.
So what did he say about Joe Jacoby?
He's the best.
That he ever went against?
Ever.
I need nothing else.
I mean,
nobody else should.
It's just unbelievable.
Simple man.
Maybe
if Lawrence Taylor says Joe Jacoby, maybe the dumbass rest of the NFL should listen.
Maybe the Redskins should get Lawrence Taylor to go into the room to tell the story.
Well,
I'd like to go. I'd like to be there for
be
pregame, postgame, in-game.
In-game for sure.
I mean, I'm not thinking I can hang with LT. I just want to witness how he rolls.
All right, so I'm going to take umbrage with Greg Martin's
You can have it, man.
statement that the
I've got any
crappy
numbers right,
Nationals. He's talking about the Nationals winning the World Series. Not a long shot by any
Hold
stretch.
up. On May 23rd, they were 19-31. They proceeded to go 87-43. I will never forget these numbers. 19-31. They were
were doing a
saying
show.
They were saying leave Davey in New York for Memorial Day. Let him go. It was May 23rd. We were 19-31 after 50 games. We went 87-43. That means we won every series 2-1. That's nuts in baseball.
Yeah.
And anytime Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg pitched in the postseason, we won. So keep that in mind when everyone's freaking out about why they get paid 80 gazillion. Even if they came in the ninth inning in relief. Anytime Max Scherzer threw one pitch or Steven Strasburg threw one pitch in 2019, we won. And if you want to talk about long shots, this is how we do it. Because Howie Kendrick put it out there, put it on there, and gave it to them.
This is how
many
Kendrick,
right-handed
baby.
hitters play that long and have a lifetime batting average of 300? Howie Kendrick. So, hey, man,
you know what?
In May, they were the underdog, but geesh.
I know how many World Series rings your team has won, Greg, the Yankees. However, what have you done for me
Do, 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 do.
lately?
Ooh, yeah.
T, let me
Miss
ask you a
Jackson,
question.
if you're nasty.
Let me ask you a
Okay.
question, T. What are you most looking forward to? So it's late March.
You stop talking. Oh, wait, sorry. You didn't finish it.
Damn it.
It's me, too. You were just in the middle of the relay.
I was in the middle of the
But you know how to hit the cutoff, right? Turn your body this way. I can teach that all day
Yes.
today. It was bullshit. The kids don't even know that.
It's all about the
That's right.
hits.
Put the level here. You can't hear it's right there. Stop turning this way. You're a crossing guard. Get your ass out of here.
I want to give him a shot at what you're looking forward to in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to do this show for
A
the next
sale
2 weeks.
of the Washington football team.
That's your number one thing we want to talk about. I agree. What about you, Kev?
What I want to talk about?
The number one sports event in our
This
lives
is the number one thing I want to have
in the
happen.
next 2 weeks. Yes.
Yes.
In the
I
next
want a
2
sale
weeks.
of
2
the Washington
weeks.
football team.
2 weeks. I agree with that.
I want some gigantic offensive lineman to be like, yeah, it's pretty much a done deal. I'm going to be a dancing bear for the Washington football Redskin team. Commander stuff. And I also have a friend who's going to be our second-round draft pick. He roomed with me at the Senior Bowl, and he's a 6'3", 195-pound cornerback who's tough as shit, just like Benjamin St. Juste. If those two can stay healthy, and we have Fuller, we're going to be all right this year.
I think we're going to be all right this year. I really do.
That's what I want. That's what I
I'm
want.
excited. I'm excited about talking about our team, or not just over the next 2 weeks, but over the next few months, because there's competency at multiple levels of the football side of this house, and that makes it fun. I'm not confusing us with the 49ers or the Chiefs or the Bills. I'm not. Who cares? Because in a 16-game NFL season, at the end of the day, you march your best players forward in December, in late November and early December, and if you've got the best guys at that point in time, you're going to be doing just fine. So I'm excited about that, and we're going to see opening day for the Washington Nationals, and it's a big deal for me. I know I don't want to overplay it because I know we got a lot of Commanders, Redskins football team fans, on our board. Opening day is a big deal. Opening day is a
We're
big
DC
deal.
sports fans.
That's my team. That is my team. We sure are. And the Cavs aren't out of the playoffs yet, and the Wizards just hung some stank on the Celtics tonight. So things are looking halfway decently for us in a short.
If we can get a boatsman to intercept this yacht on the Potomac River and make this tiny little bastard walk the plank on video, I'd be willing to give you guys like thousands
pesos
of whatever Ken suggests.
Of Ken's money.
of Ken's money.
Not
Yes.
Ken's, but definitely someone else's.
We'll be back next Tuesday night. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us on yet another March Tuesday night. The last one you'll see us, March 2023. We'll be back next week with more DC sports talk. We got a draft coming. You guys didn't give us any ideas. It's on me. I got you. The 6-0 defenders. We'll talk. How about this? We will have one segment on the DC defenders next week. one segment on the DC Defenders next
I
week.
love
Let's
it.
do it. We're going to talk
I love
about
it.
a DC team.
Let's pull out our beer
Let's talk
snake.
about some winning football
Yes,
in DC.
yes, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to commit to it, and it deserves to be talked about. And they,
I love it.
And the beer snake. The beer snake's a thing, and I taught my entire family about the beer snake.
When a thing is a thing, Ken wants to talk about it.
It's true.
And when the beer snake fell apart last night on Monday Night Defenders football, I was perturbed. Like it caused the most stress of the entire broadcast. When they obviously there was doctors.
We had a bad snake
and
night?
No, the repairing of the snake was what's most important.
Wait, is it a birthday night for Callie? I'm not going off the air until Greg Martin confirms that I missed a birthday that I need to call out. Because Robert Cohen, who is kind of like our documentarian / librarian / historian.
Robert Cohen is an MVP of this.
If he says it is, it is.
Well,
happy birthday, Callie.
Happy birthday, Callie. And
the-
Happy birthday, Callie.
I love the way it's spelled too.
It sure is. It sure is. It's amazing.
Much love.
We appreciate you guys. We're coming back in 7 days, and we're going to maximize the use of this new technology. The snake was real, and it was spectacular. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you very soon. We are still live. I don't have to get up out of my chair anymore.
You know the beer snakes in the swamp are going to be, they're going to be pretty legit.
17, Dan. No one likes you.
This button I know, the old FTB. Now this
17,
happens.
Dan.
The old fade to
Nobody
black.
likes you.
Bam.
17, Dan. No one likes you.
We're still live.
Beat a turd.
We are still live.
So how do we go unlive?